ខ្ញុំអាយុ12ឆ្នាំខ្ញុំធ្លាប់បាន
It all started when I was 12 years old and my uncle sexually abused me. One day in the evening after I had got ready for bed, I went to my uncle's house to watch TV. At around 8 or 9 o'clock, I went down to the toilet with my two friends. They decided not to watch TV with me any longer, and they just went back home. I went up to watch TV by myself, and my uncle came from behind me. He put his hand over my mouth and dragged me down the stairs. He put a knife close to my neck and then forced me to take off my clothes. He raped me. When he had finished raping me, he threatened me not to tell anything to my mother. If I told my mother, he would kill all of us. I did not dare tell my mother. The next day, I went to some farmland behind my house. I climbed a tree with my friends. I did not dare tell my mum. I could only speak to my friend. I asked whether a little girl should tell her mother when an old man raped her. My friend said yes. She encouraged me to tell my mother. It took me a while before I dared to tell my mother. It was one evening when my mother was preparing food. I told her all about my uncle raping me. My mother hit me. She just beat me up. It felt like my own mother didn't love me anymore. I convinced myself that telling my mother would make her feel sympathetic and encouraging. She should have encouraged me. She should have been sympathetic. But she wasn't. Instead, she just hit me. She hit me because of the shame that this would bring on my family. The next day, she took me to file the complaint at the police. The policewoman caught the man who raped me, but a while later, he was released. The policeman told my mother not to file any other complaints. They said if she did, she would have to spend a lot of money to pay the police for their time. My mother didn't have much money. From then on, fearing that my uncle would come and kill me, my mother took me to my grandma's house. Sometime later, an organisation found my uncle and tried to take the man to court, but he had already fled. That organisation helped us by giving rice, fish, and noodles. The people in the organisation asked my mother if she could allow me to go and study. My mother thought about it for a long time before saying yes, disregarding my grandpa's disapproval of me studying. After 5 years with that organisation, I asked to go back to the village where I could meet up with my family and friends. I was having a lot of fun. One day, I went to swim in a nearby well. A strange man came. He saw me in the water and he raped me. I knew I couldn't tell my mother this time. I just had to keep it to myself. Sometime later, I had the chance to go and visit the royal palace in Cambodia with friends. We were having such fun with each other. It was then that 5 men came and started harassing me, sexually, touching me. It hurt so much. I still didn't dare tell my mother. I was afraid she would beat me up again. I was feeling so embarrassed and didn't want to tell anyone else. At the time, my mother spotted my peculiar behaviour and attitude. Still, I managed to keep everything that had happened from my mother. I knew that from now on I could never tell my mother anything. The next day, I went to the lake with my friends and my older brother, who was feeding cows. We all were searching for birds' eggs. We had split up and each of us were on our own. That's when another man from another village came to me, and he raped me. He bribed me with all the birds' eggs he had, and he asked me not to tell my mother. He threatened to kill me and would make me unable to see my relatives again. I didn't tell my mother. Sometime after that, I was taken to an organisation again. I had a chance to continue my studies and had a job to do to earn some money. I started to live a happy life. Since then, I have started to work for Elim at the Early Learning Centre. I have started a new life. I am a new person. I will not allow others to look down on me like they did in my village.